but stay with a minute. Get under 30 this time. First time ever. Woo! Walking back to the hotel. Before we go back to get the award, I think we came in third. That'd be awesome because that'd be my first podium. So hopefully I did. We'll see when I come back at 12.
In third place, Non Giant from Greenville, South Carolina. Third place, Yin Win from Greenville, South Carolina. You deserve to have your name called right. Second place, Darrell Patterson from Atlanta, Georgia. 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 47 seconds. First place overall male for the 2018 Columbia Marathon is Benjamin Laprice from Columbia, South Carolina. 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 22 seconds.
I started training for the Sub 3 Marathon for 2006 in the fall, and I raced 2006 fall, and I got like a 302 in that race. 302 something close to, 302 close to 303. And then I came back for this race in 2017, which is last year, and I got a 301.47, which was my PR. But did not break 3, was 2 minutes away. And then last year in October, I ran the Sphinx, got sick in that race, and did like a 305.15. And so this was my fourth try to get Sub 3 Marathon in the last approximately about 2 years of training. Some of the things I want to share is what I did for a lot of my training is to be consistent running. Whatever your mileage you have or planning on doing, then you want to keep consistently running that mile. If you travel, you would still want to run those mileage, in the morning or in the afternoon or at night, whatever times that you could find to do, and being consistent in your training, in my opinion, is very important. And if you do miss a run or something, you don't have to make it up all in the next run. I didn't. If I miss a run for some reason, or I would do maybe like a mile or 2 mile more, but I don't want to do, if I did a 5 mile run and I missed it, I don't want to add that 5 mile run in my next run. I just want to add maybe 1 or 2 miles, or even not even add it, because what you want to do is you don't want to get injured over training, because once you get injured, it actually is it's a setback, and you have to make sure you recover before you actually will be able to run again. Or if you get sick, your immune system gets weak, and then you get sick, then you want to make sure you get better before you start running again. Because otherwise, if you keep training and you're sick or you're injured, it doesn't do any good. Another thing is if you cannot do your training, for example, you got a 10-mile run and you can't do the full 10 miles, but you're able to do like a 4-mile run or a 5-mile run, then I would do those runs, so that way, you got something in better than nothing that day. A lot of times, if you can't do the full time, you feel kind of bad, and then you don't do anything. But it's always good to do something better than not do anything. And a lot of times when there's raining or snowing or the weather's really cold, a lot of people don't get out. But I actually found it really fun and interesting to run in the element, in the rain or in the snow. You do want to be careful. You don't want to slip and fall and get hurt. Make sure you have the gears, when you're running in the cold or in your rain. You might have some Gore-Tex shoes or some trail shoes, so that way, you don't get wet. But I think it's fun to actually get out there and run here and there. You want to, of course, you want to be dry and don't get sick. So just keep that in mind. If you have the gear to do it, then it's good, so you actually can keep running. And I actually find it enjoyable to run in the snow or in the rain or flurries. Like this year, there was a lot of snow flurries, and it was very fun just to run in and you see the snow falling around. This race I actually ran and met some people that actually watched my YouTube videos. So that was very cool, and thanks for you guys to come up and say hi to me and things like that. It was very cool and very fun, and it felt really good to talk to other people. That does similar videos to help other runners when they're starting off. And of course, making these videos, always hope that these videos are helpful for the viewers, just like you. I did met my high school friend that ran cross country and track with me, Jeremy Darby. He's always a pleasure to meet, a great guy. And he came in, and I believe he did a half marathon. And he had an Achilles injury, which a surgery, and then he came back and running. So, I was psyched about him getting better and, fully recover, and then, getting a lot of good runs in time. And hopefully we can do like maybe a marathon together. So one of the things, what I did for this race is I actually brought 5 gels and 5 salt tablets. Before the race, I actually took 1 gel. So I got 6 gels. Before the race, I took a gel. And then during the race, I took the 5 gels every 5 miles. And then the tablets, I actually took it between my gels. If that's like 5 miles, after 2 miles, I would actually take the salt tablets. And that helped because it was cold, so I didn't have to drink a lot of water this morning. It was 38 or 39 degrees. And but when I did drink, I was putting down either gels or putting down electrolyte pills, so it avoids me from getting cramped. Yeah, I want to say this marathon has a lot of water stops, and the volunteers are great, very helpful, very exciting. There was Yell for You and all, and so really love the environment with this marathons, and the volunteers are just great. Quick summary of the race. I started off pretty quickly, but my heart rate monitor was still showing just like in the 140s, so I don't know, did it just not register or so, but it felt all right, so I just kept it there around 140 for the first few miles. But after the 5th miles, it went up to like 170 and pretty much stay around 165 and 170, which I thought was pretty high because my idea was going to stay at around 155 and 160. But I was going slow. I thought I was going slow. I was pacing it. I thought when I go slower, my heart rate would actually go down, but it actually didn't. It stayed like around 168 to 170 for after the first 5 miles. So after the first 5 miles or around there, my heart rate spiked up to around 170, like 165 to 175, and it kind of stayed there pretty much the rest of the race. And I was trying to slow down to get it down, and I think I got it down to like 166 to 168 or so. But it stayed pretty high, more than what I expected for the entire run at least. The halfway marker, the half marathon, I got across like 126, like 1 hour and 26 minutes or 127 minutes. So it was a little quicker, but I felt pretty good. So I kept through, trying to keep that pace going forward and not slow down. And that was the goal. But always the last 8 miles or after the 20 miles, it starts to get tougher than the first 18 or first 20 miles. So you always hear people say it's like, the race really starts at mile 20, and it's really true. By the time I get to mile 20, that was where I would have to sustain my pace or really have to push harder than what I was doing the first 20 miles of the entire marathon. So that's very true. If you're running, just think mentally. The first 20 miles is the first half of the race. It's more mentally, and then the last 10K, which is the second half of the race, is really you really have to run with your heart, because a lot of times that's when you're really tired, you're giving up, you're like, oh my God, I can't make it, and all. That's when you really have to calm yourself down, and you train for years or months for this, and it's going to be painful, it's going to hurt, and you just have to push through it. First 18 miles or first 18-20 miles, I believe, I haven't uploaded my Strava yet, but it felt pretty good. After 18 to around 18 to 20 miles, it was getting tough. I was trying to keep consistent, at times I was just thinking, keep the form, keep breathing through my belly, and just lean forward, keep your alignment straight, and didn't even worry about the pace. But every time the mile marker make the sound on my Garmin, I look back and I was falling off, 10 seconds or 15 seconds, 10 seconds, the very last 10K. That last 10K, you don't want to bonk and, drop like, a minute or 2 minutes off your pace, because you do, that's when you fall apart. I was starting to fall apart, but I was able to hold it in and really focus on just the breathing and running, and, taking baby steps when I'm going up the hills, because there's a lot of hills in this race that it gets tough after the second loop. The first loop was all right, not bad, but the second loop, after the halfway mark, it starts to get a little tough, especially going up Gervais, the very last one. And actually before that one, the hill before that was actually, I think, was more tougher to get up to Gervais, and then it goes down and go back up. So if you're training for the Run Hard Marathon, make sure you do some hill workouts, because there's some hills in this marathon, and if you don't train your legs to go up the hills, you're going to feel that after going up, doing the second loop of the marathon. It's gonna hurt your quads a lot. Yeah, so there are times in the race where you're thinking, you might not be able to make it. I had a few of those instances, and what I did was I just thought to myself, just focus on the form, your alignment, and quick turnovers. Not long strides, just quick turnovers, especially when you're going up the hills. And I didn't try not to worry about the time or think about the time most of the race until, the clock chime in, at the mile marker. On my Garmin, they actually recorded like 26.4 miles. So I don't know, my Garmin's off, or did I just ran the further route around? So when you're running in a race, just make sure you stay at the border, which is the closest, and you don't want to run any farther than you want to. But somehow, I think last year and this year, I actually ran like a quarter mile longer than the actual race. And that's what it just shows in the Garmin. I came in third overall, so it's my first time that I podium for a marathon, so really excited about that. They happen to have a prize money for this race too. I think first place is $200 or $250, and second place was $100, and third place was $50. So I got $50 to pay for the hotel. I think the first place probably was maybe a minute ahead of me, and second place maybe 30 seconds or 45 seconds ahead of me. The result is not up yet, so I don't know the exact time that I was able to push it through and broke 3 hours the first time. If you guys have your goals, I hope you guys meet your goals. Always train, always be consistent, and just enjoy running. When I start running again, I wasn't planning on breaking 3 hours. I was just doing it consistently on a daily basis, running in the morning, because I just enjoy running in the morning. It was fun. Seeing the sunrise, hearing the birds chirping in the morning. And as I did consistently, and I got more and more, and I built a more of an aerobic base, then I was able to run longer and faster. And then that got me to run longer, like marathon, and that got me to where I am. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope your race is going well. Hope your running is going well. Stay injury free, and hope the videos was helpful. It's nice now. It's like 66 degrees. My legs are very sore. It hurts a lot. And I love it.